I decided in this video we're going to talk about the Crucible, Iron Banner, everything that went down in the beta as far as PvP, player versus player, or just matchmaking. The main game mode you're probably going to play, or what you think you're going to play going into it. Now let's first talk about what's actually going down in the video before I actually get down to the Crucible, because it might be a couple of videos or maybe one long video, because I got a lot of stuff to talk about. Basically, I'm in the tower, which is the city in the game where you buy all your equipment, you can buy new stuff, buy new gear, get your quests from, all that stuff. Now the highest amount of players you're going to have on one team is 6. So, because Crucible is 6v6 and raids are 6-man teams. Usual fire teams that go through story missions are teams of 3. Story missions, explore, and strike missions. One thing that really doesn't make sense is why explore, which means like it's a game mode where you enter an explorable planet or explorable area and you just go around and find things and just see what is there to do. That's limited to 3 players and not 6, which kind of doesn't make any sense to me. But maybe they'll change it, maybe they'll not, but it's only 3 for Explore. The only game modes that have 6-player teams are the Crucible, player versus player, or Raids, player versus environment, PvE. Okay, now I mentioned this before in a previous video. Auto rifles, basically the automatic rifle, is the main primary weapon you're gonna see. Well, the main primary weapon I saw. And it was basically dominant in the beta. There were 2 primary weapons that you could have used. The Sidonia or Shingensi. Those were the 2 rifles that were basically battling it out. There was also a 3rd rifle, which is a scout rifle, the one-shot DMR type weapon, and it's called the Jigoku. It's one of the main rifles I used before I actually got a Shingensi. For Sidonia, I never really got it as a drop until like the very end of the beta. And whenever I did actually get one before the end of the beta, I never gave it a chance, so I don't have much footage of a Sidonia, but I'll show you each rifle with some gameplay or some good kills. Now first let's talk about the Jigoku. This gun is pretty freaking amazing. I used this gun pretty much until I got a Shingensi, because it's that freaking good. Now let's say for example you got 2 Jigokus. One might be different than the other, meaning one could have a different sight or one could have a different perk, or both. This gun is a 3-shot rifle. It kills in 3 shots. 3 headshots is all you need, which is why I loved it so much. It's mainly used for medium to long distances, but it could be used for short distances too, like if somebody is right directly in your face, as long as you have good aim. And the sights actually help with that too, so like there's sights for close quarters combat and there's sights for long range combat. I would see this rifle being used for more as a support player. For example, me, because I support you. Basically, I carry you people on my back, you know. I allow you to rush in without being constricted as I pick off all the stragglers around. And I mean, it's a gun that rewards decent aim. So Cyril, I could see you using this weapon out of everybody else. You just have to be good enough. And I think you're good enough. For everybody else, I believe the auto rifle would be the best option. As for lag, it could be pretty horrible in this game, and it's not you. It depends on their connection. If they have a bad internet, then you can't hit them, basically. They're invincible. Here's an example.
Enemy captured Zone A. Zone B lost. Zone B secure. You neutralized Zone A. You
Yeah.
captured Zone A.
It could be pretty bad. Especially if other person's internet sucks. Like, for example, here, look at that. I shot him so many times, but no numbers popped up. Because of his connection, he is taking bullets. He's like eating them. He's eating them bullets. He's just taking them and munching on them like, goddamn, they're crackers. The next gun I'm going to talk about is the Shingen C. The best gun in the beta. That's my opinion. I have 3 reasons why. The first one is that it's so goddamn accurate. It's like a laser. Recoil not found. Second, it fires so goddamn fast. You can just melt people. People just melt. And third, it's got a 44 round clip. You can kill like 3 people with 1 clip. Shingen C, man. Favorite auto rifle in the beta, hands down.
Zone B
Alright?
lost.
It's literally good at everything. You can get an amazing sight. The sight I'm using right now is my favorite sight of everything else. Like for sniper scopes, fusion rifle, shotguns, rocket launchers, auto rifles, pulse rifles, scout rifles. The sight I'm using right now is my favorite sight out of everything I've seen. And finally we get to the Sidonia. Now, I didn't get an actual Sidonia, and I really never gave it a chance. I would always dismantle it and just let it go, just because I fell in love with the Shingen C and I didn't think anything was going to be better. Now don't get me wrong, I still don't think the Sidonia is better than the Shingen C, mainly because of the Shingen C's accuracy and the Shingen C's magazine size. The Sidonia is a pretty decent gun. It's got a 24 round clip, it kills fast, and it's not that hard to control the recoil. Now, between the Shingen C and the Sidonia, I don't know the exact numbers because I don't want to deal with calculating any of that. I'll just let somebody else do it. Nobody's done it yet, so I'm not mentioning it. I don't know which gun does more work, as in does more damage over time, or like DPS, damage per second, between the two. Ultimately, it comes down to personal preference, and it depends on how everybody reacts and how the gun feels to you, you know? You actually have to compare and contrast both of them for you to actually get a concrete answer, because I don't know your personal interests, how you think a gun should feel in a video game, but it's all personal preference. This clip was actually, well, this entire clip of me playing with the Sidonia is the last match I've ever recorded. I think it was the last Crucible match I ever played, and I did pretty good, I would say. The end of this video is gonna end with this match ending, and you will see the conclusion. I figured I would split up my Crucible videos into separate parts. Next time I might talk about superpowers, the special weapons, the heavy weapons, vehicles, maps, and like general strategies, tips and tricks, differences between the classes, their grenades, their special abilities, their jumps. There's plenty to cover. And I still haven't talked about Iron Banner, which was basically a special event. What Bungie did was they had a specific game mode that was only open for 2 hours at a time. And in the beta, the only game mode you could play was Control, and everything was normalized. So your levels, your weapons, and your abilities, they didn't matter. Everything was normalized, so everybody had a chance to killing each other, and it was fair game. But in the Iron Banner event, everything mattered. Your armor, your stats, your weapons, how much, your abilities, your jumps, everything. Everything mattered in the Iron Banner. The items were not normalized. if you had boss ass armor, boss ass weapons, and just boss everything, if you were a complete boss, just be a boss, like a boss, you would be slaying people
You captured
in the
Zone
Iron
A.
Banner. But it wasn't that drastic in the beta, mainly because basically everybody was level 8. You know, everybody was level 8. Level cap was level 8.
Zone B
Everybody
lost.
basically had the same thing, so it didn't really matter, but it mattered a little bit because I had a little bit of an advantage because I grinded for gear, and my gear was pretty good every time I went into the Iron Banner. And when you play with me, when we finally get the game, and the game's finally out, don't worry, you'll be getting boss-ass armor because you'll be playing with me. I will be figuring out everything. I'll just be figuring out everything. I'll be the brains. You can just do whatever the fuck you want, and I'll handle the stressful shit. You know?
Zone C
Because the
neutralized.
stressful shit to you is very, very enjoyable to me. I get a kick out of it.
Zone
It's like
C
crack.
secure. Zone A lost.
Like this game, it's an addiction. It's pretty good. If you've read anything online about people talking about this game, majority of it, the majority is good. People have a good opinion about this game, which is very, very surprising. Mainly because you hear the hate a lot more often, and it speaks louder than all the good reception. Like, for example, one hater can be the voice of 10 people, just because. It's the way we react to negative stimulus. We pay attention more to criticisms and the bad than focusing on the good. So the simple fact that the good is actually overpowering the
You
bad
control all
makes this
zones.
game, it's gonna be a good game. I love this game. You'll love it too. Bungie has a 10-year contract with Activision, so Destiny ain't gonna be going nowhere for a long time. I mean, Bungie's smart. I'm pretty sure they won't fuck up, but you really never know until it actually happens. But I respect Bungie, and I'm pretty sure I can leave it up to them. Not like I can do anything, but I'll just leave it to them because it's their game,
Zone A
so
lost.
I'll just accept whatever they put out. And the little slice that I've played, the little slice that I've seen from the game, I love it.
Enemy captured
I love the
Zone
game. I have a very high opinion of this game. Basically, this is gonna be the game I play. It's gonna be my main game. Or probably the only game I play for maybe the next 10 years if it's that good. If it is that good, which I could see it being that good. If it gets that good, I'll be playing this game for the next 10 years. Maybe even longer. If nothing comes up to replace it. And let me tell you, man, starting over on PSN, it's like starting over on Xbox all over again. Remember, we talked about how we got all our friends basically in the first couple months of getting Xbox Live? It's the same thing for this. Switching over to PS4, being on the PlayStation Network, and playing Destiny. Let me give you a frame of reference, okay? By the end of the beta, just only playing the beta, I was able to get around 30 friends and a group to play with when the game actually comes out. Right now, I have about like 130 friends. We will never have not enough people to play with. Trust me on that. Well, the video is cut short. I'm still talking. I'm gonna end the video here. I'll talk more about the Crucible in my next video. Peace.